This is a Mets Willits Point bound 7 local train. The next and last stop is Mets Willits Point.
Closing doors, please.
Hey Mets fans, thank you guys for tuning in and welcome to another episode of Bearded Mets Banter. I'm your boy and host, Chente Camacho Jr. And before we get started, guys, please do me the favor, go ahead and click that button down there. Like, share, and subscribe. And I appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. On this week's episode, we're going to touch on the occurrences of what happened last week towards the end of that Pittsburgh series, going into Cincinnati, and the start of this 11-game swing at home. 11 very important games, 3 starting with Toronto, and then the 5 squished in between with Atlanta, and then the final 3 against Cincinnati. What else we have to say? Buckle up, guys. Enjoy the ride. This is Bearded Mets Banter. Here we go. Pittsburgh. I spoke about it my last video, guys. I was in Pittsburgh after that devastating Game 2 loss of that series that we lost 9-7 on that walk-off grand slam. The team was reeling. We were reeling as fans. Then we came back and we went down 6-0 in the first inning of the final game of that of that series, and we pulled it off at the end. Conforto hit a home run, and then going into Cincy, he hit another one going into Cincinnati, and I was excited. I thought that he was coming around. And sure enough, here we go. Pete Alonso starts to heat up in Cincy, hits a couple blasts in Cincinnati, and he's right back in the swing of things. We managed to take 2 out of 3 from Cincy, and we're looking forward to the home cooking. We come to Cincy with our heads down. We leave with our shoulders up, getting ready for this next upcoming 11-game homestand against some pretty powerful teams. The first of which are the Toronto Blue Jays. We know the Toronto Blue Jays can hit. Everybody knows this. This is not a secret. This young team has some young boppers on it. They just signed George Springer to that big deal. He spurned us and went to that team. And, he made some plays in that series. He was incredible. The things he did with the bat and with the glove, especially that catch he made the other night, was super impressive. The night that they smacked us. I mean, this Toronto team, when they get some pitching, they're going to be super dangerous in that American League for many years to come. And that's either going to be through trade, free agency, or even if they develop some talent through their minor league pipeline. Hopefully, they got some of these international signings that could make a splash in terms of, some arms. They really need arms, especially in the bullpen. Their bullpen is kind of bad, even though it did well against the Mets, which is always the case for some reason. Gary Cohen's always calling out how terrible the opposition's bullpen is, and for some reason they come in and do well against the Mets. I guess that's our thing, or maybe just the Gary Cohen curse. Who knows? But that was a fantastic series against the Toronto Blue Jays. Pete Alonso came up big in both the first game. He drove in all 3 runs in the first game, and then in the final game he did very well. He hit another home run to tie the game when we were down. I mean, what else is there to say about Pete Alonso? The home run derby woke him up, singing Shook Ones Part 2 by Mobb Deep. Really got this kid going. This team is a special team. I mean, they've played fantastic defense up until that one game when Guillorme made those few errors. Guillorme is usually shorthanded. And I give him a pass. A couple of those errors, he could have saved himself, but he just tried to do a little too much. He does have soft hands. We know he's very good. And just that day defensively, he just wasn't there for the Mets. And that's okay. The Mets still happen to, I think they won that game, actually. It went to extras, and we scored 15 runs that game. So turned out to be a win. This team has been playing, like I said, some pretty exceptional defense. J.D. Davis flashed the leather in this series against Toronto as well. He played a really good series. I mean, for the exception of the first game that he went off against Pittsburgh, he's really like done pretty good. I like JD Davis. You guys know this. I'm a big fan of his. I think he should play more than just 7 innings a game. He's flashed the leather, like I said, in this series. And we're coming into now this Atlanta Braves matchup, which is kind of crazy because we just acquired Rich Hill, and he gives us 5 solid innings to close out that series against the Blue Jays. I mean, we couldn't ask for anything more from that guy. I mean, he left with the bases juice. He should never gotten into that deep of trouble, but these are growing pains with the manager. I like Luis Rojas for the exception of some moves he's made. I do not want him to get fired. I think he's a great manager in the making. He has great DNA in his genetics, as we all know who his dad and brother are, and uncles for that matter. But this guy's he's a talented manager. He's a baseball guy, and he has these guys' attention. As I said before, he definitely has the players' attention. So we're moving into this Atlanta series, and we're gonna see Stroman pitch after acquiring Hill, and he pitched yesterday. Now after Stroman is a question mark. We do not know who's gonna start for us. With the trade deadline approaching quickly, it'll be here Friday, 4:00 in the afternoon. If I'm not mistaken, that's the deadline when it's over. We've seen some great deals be made by the Mets. We've seen some bad deals made by the Mets. I just hope, whatever the Mets do, I trust in the process. I believe in the brain trust. I think they're going to do good things. Even if they do patch up work and it's not a major blockbuster move, remember, y'all, this free agent class coming up for this upcoming season is going to be incredible. The crop of players that are going to be available are going to be, it's going to be unprecedented, especially at the shortstop position. And there are a couple of shortstops that you can actually, throw some money and switch them over to second base to pair up very nicely with Francisco Lindor for years to come. But who knows? Are some of these players worth renting? And because it's not a given that we're going to extend whoever we trade for if we make a splash in this upcoming deadline. We don't know who's to say. Do they get Bryant? Do we who are we trading for that is an expiring contract? And are the Mets willing to part ways with young talent to get these guys? I believe that we have some young talent that is not far down the road to help this team improve for years and years to come without going crazy and buying and spending on free agency and making these crazy trades. A trade is necessary. They definitely need to upgrade right now because what this team has at the moment, facing this Atlanta Braves team in the middle of this 11-game homestand, these 5 games are pretty crucial. It's because it's a division opponent mostly, but at the same time, we want to distance ourselves further in first place. We have to take advantage of the poor play in this division right now. This division is severely underperforming, and, most of it in part is due to injury to all teams. So we have to accept as well that we've been a little fortunate this season to be in the position that we're in right now. Shout out to Mets Twitter, everybody out there, punching their fingers away, keying away. This has been a pretty special season given the circumstances. I fully understand that this could be a whole lot worse than what it is right now. We can actually be cellar dwellers right now given the situation and the amount of injuries and the amount of players that have been up and down this team and the DFAs and the scrap heap players. This has been a special season in terms of the ups and downs and still managing to stay in first place this entire time. I tell people to pump their brakes. That's just my thing. I just try to be even keel. I'm not trying to, go crazy. I will rant here and there, but right now, I can't be happier. I can because, things could be better in terms of health on this team and the depth. But for what they have given us this season, I can't really complain at all. This team for me has the makings of a dynasty to come, and also this team has the camaraderie and the glue and the foundation to possibly make a deep playoff run. We miss Francisco Lindor out on that field. He's a terrific player. Guillermo VR, the other guy, Luis Peraza, or Jose Peraza, excuse me. I'm mixing guys' names up. But Jose Peraza, those guys have done a great job, but they're not Francisco Lindor. What he brings on the field and off the field is different. And the players, like I said before, players are a little different when they're not playing. I mean, his presence is still there and everything, but it's not the same guy that you have that is playing on an everyday basis. His spirit is different. His energy is different. Right now, he's on heel mode. And sending Francisco Lindor and the rest of the Mets team that are currently dealing with injuries, all healing vibes, lighting a little bit of Palo Santo for you guys. I'll do it in a moment. I have my Palo Santo right here for y'all. This team needs good energy on the real. A lot of craziness on Mets Twitter, but I try not to pay too much attention to it. Shout out to everyone on Mets Twitter. We're going to see now with this Braves team and this series, these next 5 games, what they hold for us. Hoping we can do well, maybe go 3-2. Maybe split the series or the doubleheader tonight, and then get the series win somehow 3-2, and then take care of Cincinnati when they come in to bookend the series, or the homestand rather. This is very important next 8 games for the New York Mets. They did well to start the homestand, and all we can do is hope for the best, and maybe the trade deadline brings us something good. If it does, I'll come back on and do a trade deadline special, Bearded Mets Banter. Until then, y'all, as always, thank you guys for tuning in. I do this for fans. This is for us. This is a Mets-only dedicated vlog/podcast. And as always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Until the next one, y'all, this is your boy Chente Camacho Jr. signing off. Peace and love.
This is a Mets Willets Point bound 7 local train. The next and last stop is Mets Willets Point.